Today on Defining Wealth Beyond the Numbers, we're joined by Katie Knowles, founder of Local Collective, one of the most thoughtfully designed boutique fitness studios in the Low Country. Katie brings an incredibly multifaceted background to everything she does. Professional dance, brand leadership, franchise ownership, creative development, real estate, and on top of all that, a master's in business. But what really stood out to me in our conversation is how she blends all of those experiences into a clear purpose, creating a space where movement, community, and growth intersect. Local Collective isn't just a studio, it's a place where instructors are empowered, clients connect, and the boutique fitness experience continues to evolve. Katie's story reflects a powerful mix of creativity, strategy, and heart. And her definition of wealth speaks to building something meaningful that supports others. You're really going to love this one. Katie, welcome to Defining Wealth Beyond the Numbers.
Having me.
Yeah, it's been great. It's good to have you. So we always start off with the same question because I'm always fascinated by what was your first job? Just tell me a little bit about that.
So my first job was working for my parents' bagel shop. So they owned a bagel shop.
Love that.
Yeah, me too. We had to make everything from scratch there, though. So nothing was, processed or, pre-made. Everything was from scratch. So I had to go in and make homemade cream cheese in high school, which was awesome, as a high schooler. So yeah, one of my talents, I think.
Yeah. It's been talented.
Yeah.
The question is, do you still do it at home?
No, we do not.
Yeah.
No.
I'll show that in afterwards.
But yeah, they made me go into the bagel shop and do everything everyone else didn't want to do. So it was basically, it wasn't this is my daughter, she gets kind of the royalty. It was, guess what? You get toilet duty.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? You get to scrub all the dishes. Guess what? It was just.
Because you're our daughter.
Because you're our daughter.
You're going to work.
And you're going to work.
I like that. So it taught you a lot.
Yeah.
So how was that translated as you've gotten older in life, like that experience?
So, as I graduated from college, I started touring, in a professional dance company. And it's not a normal, I guess, in the sense of what normal people look forward to doing. Usually it's you have something in your mind that you're set on going to. You're going to get a salary. You're going to get all these things.
You're going to interviews.
You're going to get your 401k.
Yep.
And coming from my family, that was very much like, whoa, what are you doing? So it was that work ethic really parlayed into what I did.
So the dance part, they were saying, what are you doing?
Yes, with the dance part.
Because they thought it was the other way around.
I came from a mother who was a financial advisor. So
Go already.
Yes. So going into that.
She must be a smart woman.
She's a smart woman. She really is. So she really instilled, from the beginning, that work ethic and the having both the business side and the performing arts side from day one when I started saying, hey, I want to pursue this. So as a dancer coming, to circle back on this, coming out of college with a degree, a double major, I had to work tons of jobs on the side just to survive. So when I wasn't touring, I was doing events, I was doing marketing, I was just doing all these things. I mean, I don't like to share this a lot, but I dressed as Goldie the Goldfish. Just
impressive.
I know.
Do what you need to do.
Do what you need to do. So I think that's where the work ethic, just tying this all together, really came into play. Is I was taught that you really had to work to get where you want to be, and I knew when I was done, I wanted to tour and perform professionally, and I was going to do whatever I could to get there and then support that lifestyle.
That's great. And how long did you do that for? And then what happened after that?
So I did the dance company for 3 years. And I decided at that time that it was time for me to move on. Ironically, I decided to get into Manhattan real estate, to New York City real estate, thinking that it would be flexible for me. Well, I was up all night, calls at 2 a.m., 4 a.m., needing to see an apartment. The New York real estate market is.
I remember that. When I was looking for an apartment, we would, especially if you were renting, you were there first thing in the morning.
Yes.
Because you had to be online to make sure that you got that apartment.
Yes. So
It wasn't easy.
it wasn't. And so I just started getting into, more of that business side of things. And at that point decided to kind of put dance on the back burner. So I was doing a lot of pickup work, but looking for more full-time jobs, and ended up in full-time marketing because I had done a lot of event marketing on the side when I was, performing professionally and didn't have to tour.
Yep.
So
One of those other jobs.
one of those other jobs. That's what I'm saying. I'm not that
One
not
of
a
the
typical.
jobs.
Yes, I'm not a typical. I think that's where it kind of has led me all here with all my experience.
But see, you just said typical, right? To me, I don't know if there is, and we're going to talk about your business in a bit, but
Yeah.
I don't think there is a typical path as a business owner, right? Or a leader in a community. And that's the part that I love about these conversations, is because you hear different paths, right? Ultimately, the qualities really are the same. Hard work, I hear that all the time, but the path is usually different, right?
Yes.
So now, speaking of your business, tell us a little bit about your business, why you decided to start it, and go from there.
So when we moved down here to Hilton Head, I had been in the fitness industry, and I knew I wanted to bring something down.
We met when I was down
Yes,
there.
I know. Oh, yes, and your lovely family and your lovely wife.
That's
That's
the part you like.
Yeah.
I was just there.
Hey, she's pretty great.
Yeah, well, she is. She is.
So when I moved down, I knew I wanted to bring something down. And I was actually preparing to bring down a bar studio, which is more in, more Pilates bar, dance based. It used to be, but decided that it wasn't right yet for this market. So I went ahead and went into a franchise with an indoor cycling franchise, a boutique studio. So it's
Been there. It's great.
Thank you. So just was wanting to stay in the realm of the boutique studio feel. Fast forward, I was able to move on from that and continued actually to work in Manhattan for a group in the fitness world, in the bar world, developing branding, everything that goes along with it that a lot of
So
people.
you do both. So you were living here.
I was living
right?
here,
And
had a
doing
business
work in
here,
Manhattan.
and was doing I was traveling every
So you really like to work.
3 to 4 months. Oh my gosh, dude, not at all. Just it's one of those things I think and you probably understand this too, as a business owner, as a leader, that there's something inside of you that drives you and you can't explain it. There's a voice in you that's just driving you
It's a
to.
challenge for me. I personally love working because it's the challenge and the result that comes from it, right? And the process to it. Sorry.
Yes, no, it's true. It's part of that. I have this right and left brain. I call it the very creative side. So I'm always developing things inside my head. And then this is kind of where I'm leading to the brand that right now, what we call Local Collective. For the last couple of years, I've been developing this idea, this branding. We just got trademarked, which was a big thing.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right?
But I think what keeps moving forward is all the people I've met throughout this journey too, just trying to, as a business owner, sometimes it's hard for people to understand your decisions and what they see from, the top down and why you're doing certain things. And
true.
yes. So, yes, Local Collective's born, and we have been just slowly releasing concepts that we're planning on doing.
Okay. I like that. I always say, speaking of what people see, we always say is that business owners look publicly successful, but privately stressed, right? Because you are making those decisions, and sometimes those are decisions others don't know why, but you understand why it's being made. And ultimately it's to build that business, right? And to help the business grow and the employees and so forth. So you have employees. So tell me a little bit about what it's like managing employees and some of the things you've learned from that, and how do you motivate them?
Yes, and I am with employees that are all part-time for me. So they're all, part-time or contractors. I have one full-time employee who's my manager. So I, deal with part-time contract workers, most of the time.
Which has some differences to it than regular full-time.
Yes, it's very different because, they have all these different lifestyles. The fitness world is very different in that sense. So while they love, hopefully we develop a great place for them to come to, they still have, they're doing 5 different jobs too. If you're just a fitness in the industry, or if I have a teacher who's a high school teacher, or I have, they all have all these different jobs. So I always say to my team, I'm like, we're not brain surgeons. If something's upsetting them, we're here to make people feel good. Really, that's what we're doing in the fitness industry. We're trying to help them get healthy. So again, it comes back to those decisions that we talked about, that sometimes you have to make decisions that not everyone sees the reasoning behind them. And that can be the hardest part with employees.
What skills do you think is needed to run and start a business? If you had
to run and start a business, you cannot give up. You are full of challenges every day. So there are so many days, and I'm in that phase right now where I just want to give up. I'm sure you felt that too. I mean, I think business owner and leader feels that way in some spot.
The difference is, do you?
Yes.
Right? That's the only difference.
And it can get lonely, like I think that's what leaders don't talk about, is it can be lonely sometimes because you're having to constantly make decisions for your clients, for your employees, for your family, it's every day. I don't think I go to sleep with, what do I need to do next? And I wake up going, I need to write a list this morning because what do I need to get done? It's constant.
I love the list part, by the way, because to me, I always say there's 3 things that guarantee someone's success in whatever they do, right? Guaranteed. And success is different in different businesses, right? So if you're in finance, that's money. If you're as a teacher, it's what you're doing and you be successful at it, but it's dedication, organization, and desire. And most people leave out that organization. So when you said lists, that's so true. Dedication, organization, desire. And I love checking. I make my lists and I love checking them off.
It's very satisfying. And I love those 3 words that you just used.
Dedication, organization, desire. Guarantee success.
And it is so, that's such those 3 words are ding, ding, ding. They are words that I think us as leaders and business owners all have to really strive to go for. And if you don't have those, the organization is a huge thing.
Yeah, but most people forget that part. Or they don't realize, but it's very important.
It's so important. And that's one of my hardest things, is because I know how organized things have to be. So I see one thing and I go, oh my gosh, we have to build a whole nother arm under here because it's not organized enough. So that's the stuff like every day that I find my time involved in, is like, okay, how am I going to run efficiencies here? What are my efficiencies in someone who's doing sales and making sure they're getting tracked? What are my efficiencies in my daily reports? Is something missing? There's just every day there's something. How can we make this better? What do we do to make it better? There's the questions are endless.
The word efficiency, which is the part that I agree with. I mean, if you can make things efficient, you can make your life easier, right? And as a business owner, we have enough to worry about. And if you can make it more efficient, then that's great. Right? That just makes it a lot easier. So community-wise, right? So tell me a little bit, because leaders, not all, but some like to be involved in the community. Anything you do in the community, what do you feel about that?
Community is so important. It's number 1 for me. Community with your employees. So trying to figure out, how do you stay as a community and support one another? You're not always perfect at it, but you're always striving to figure it out. Community for your clients who support the business. How are you making them feel when they walk in their doors? What have you done that you might need to change? There's just constantly those questions. And then community just in general, helping to support this market, like Hilton Head, Bluffton, what are you doing to give back to the community?
Yeah.
And we try to do what we can. We do a lot of give back events, throughout.
See them. You have them advertised.
Yes.
It's passive.
That right now we're trying to do the toy drive. So really giving complimentary classes if you bring in a toy for the Deep Well project. So it's just, we're always trying to do something.
Yeah, especially on Hilton Head, because, it seems as if a lot of people like to give back. For some reason, that's just the community here, which I love. And you get that in New York, because we've both been in New York, but it's not the same as here.
No.
That is actually a priority for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I find that a lot of, we do have a diverse community here, but I do feel like there's a lot of people in this community who have left their careers in bigger cities, and they have now they're using that energy and that talent to drive this give back component because they've been used to serving and doing so much.
So have you ever had a mentor? See, I've never had a mentor, and I wish I did because, I made mistakes along the way, and you're always going to make mistakes, but I would like to have minimized those. Have you ever had a mentor in your life?
I don't know. I
Business-wise?
Yeah, I business-wise, I don't think I've had an actual mentor like you. I just have taken pieces that I've seen that I've not liked or that I've liked. I think my biggest supporters have been my parents, to be honest with you. I've been lucky in that sense. They have really, especially my mom being a financial advisor, I can go to her going, hey, these numbers, what are your suggestions on going here? So as far as a mentor, like seeing someone, that I can call out their name, no, but I've seen a lot of different situations that I've been able to pull from.
No. I always say, and I said this to the last guest, that for me, my best ideas always came from someone else, and then I just varied it to myself, right? Because I'm not very creative. You sound to be a lot more creative than I am, but I'm not very creative. So I see what people do well, and then I just accentuate that.
Yeah.
And then what they don't do well, and then I just let it go. What about you being an introvert or an extrovert?
I'm both. That's why I always say is I can't. If someone asks me that, I'm always both. I like to have my private time for sure because as an owner, your brain's constantly working, and there's just voices going, you need to create this, you need to do this. But I also love being around people too, but I also like to retreat too. So I like to listen a lot. I don't like to be, when I'm in a crowd, you'll see I'm not as extrovert in the sense of like I have to be the center of attention. I really like to listen and hear other people's opinions and hear their experiences. So I don't have that.
Well, I'll tell you what mine is in a second.
Okay, tell me, yes.
I also have just going back into listening, I have a saying, it's better to be interested than interesting. Because when you listen, you learn so much about people, and then that could help yourself also. But for me, I consider myself an extroverted introvert, which I think is basically what you're trying to say, right?
Yep.
So naturally, I'm an introvert. But in situations, I can be an extrovert, and I'm in a business where you need to be. But ultimately, and I think a lot of people see business owners and leaders, and they think they're so extroverted, and they just want to talk to everyone. But in reality, a lot of them are just introverts by nature, but they've put themselves into situations where they are extroverts, right?
I think you nailed it. Yeah, I know.
I don't hear that very often. So this is a podcast about wealth, right? So we always finish with this question. So what is was your definition of wealth when you first started working? And then how has that evolved over the years to what it is now?
Yes. And I thought right away, I said health is wealth in my mind. When I started, wealth was like striving to get to the next level. Like I said, I was different in the sense it wasn't all about money. It was about striving to, become what I thought I needed to become at that point. Now it's more about the health side with myself and my family and being able to provide the common things that we all need, the homes, the backup in case someone's sick, that just the things that you prepare for as you age and you have experience. So it's being able to support your family and yourself so that you don't feel stressed. Now as a business owner, you always feel stressed.
Of course, it goes with it.
Like you said earlier, you're financially, you're
publicly successful, but privately.
Yes, correct. So wealth has really changed in that sense. It's not striving to be the wealthiest person as far as money in the world. It's really about being wealthy in your community, in your relationships, in your home, and having a good support system around you.
It's amazing how many people say that, and that's why I love to ask that question, because it has developed over the years, right? It is from the beginning, how do I make as much money as possible? And then you realize as time goes on that, wait a second, that starts to change, right? It's more about the family and the relationships and your freedom and your own mind. And so, yeah, that's why we love to ask that question.
Yes, it's a great one. This is true.
Thank you for
Thank you
coming
for
in.
having
It's been great.
Good luck with everything. Nice to see you.